Hello, this is John, and today we'll be reading When Mary Met Teddy. Chappaquiddick is cinematic salvage for the Democratic's loathsome buffoon-in-chief by Lloyd Billingsley on FrontPage magazine, posted April 9th, 2018. Lloyd Billingsley is the author of the new crime book, Lethal Injections, and the recently updated Brock 'em Up, a literary investigation. A drunken U.S. senator drives off a bridge, leaves a young woman to die, deploys a heel-clicking squad of sycophants to manage the police and the press, and gets off with a tap on the wrist. That is certified movie material, but this one appears nearly 50 years after the facts. That should serve as evidence of the Kennedy family's enduring influence. For the full backstory, see The Kennedys, an American drama by Peter Collier and David Horowitz. The July 1969 events dramatized in Chappaquiddick were also overshadowed by the first moon landing, a project of Ted Kennedy's brother John, the 35th President of the United States. So boomers, Gen X types, and millennials alike may remain shaky on the story. Chappaquiddick is better late than never, but when it comes to the sensitive ground, the film treads softly. The Boiler Room girls who had worked for Bobby Kennedy had come down for a drunken bash with Ted and his posse. The film portrays this party like something from a 60s beach movie with not a single navel in sight. When Ted, ably played by Jason Clarke, takes the beautiful Mary Jo Kopechne, played by Kate Mara, into his cavernous 1967 Oldsmobile, his purpose is not to talk campaign strategy. Like Brick in Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, Teddy had more lascivious objectives. The drunken Kennedy drives off a bridge into Pucha Pond, and one of his first thoughts is, "I'm not going to be president." He shows little, if any, concern for the 28-year-old woman gasping for air in the submerged car, and he leaves her there either. The film does a decent job of showing his evasive actions after the fact, but curious viewers should cross-check everything with Leo D'Amour's senatorial privilege, the Chappaquiddick cover-up. As that masterful work shows, virtually everything Ted Kennedy said about the incident was a lie. Chappaquiddick shows how Kennedy marshals his handlers to control the police, the hearing, the victim's body, and the press. The most casual viewer will still get the feeling that without the Kennedy family connection, Teddy would have just been some other upper-class puke. Ted Sorensen, Taylor Nichols, writes his explanatory television speech, which Ted's handler says is all bullshit. En route to Mary Jo's funeral, Joan Kennedy tells husband Ted to go fuck yourself. Many viewers will sympathize, but that's not the curtain line. That comes when patriarch Joe Kennedy, Bruce Dern, tells his son, "You will never be great." As the film explains at the end, Joe Kennedy passed away 4 months later, and Ted Kennedy went on to be, quote, the Lion of the Senate, unquote, with the fourth longest record at the time of his death in 2009. The intended takeaway is that Senator Edward Kennedy overcame the tragedy of Chappaquiddick and did indeed become great. Liberal Democrats of the time certainly didn't think so. There is hardly a personal tragedy in the husk that he has so patently become, because there was never enough of a nut inside of it for a squirrel to nibble on, wrote Henry Farley in an October 18th, 1987 New Republic piece headline, Hamelot, the Democratic buffoon-in-chief. Farley found little evidence that any wheels are turning inside his skull, and every image that the Democrats have to overcome, that they overtax the middle Americans, try to meet social problems only with a proliferation of programs, are the junior partners of vociferous but marginal interest groups, look too carelessly at the credentials of the third world movements and leaders, and neglect the security of the nation and of the free world, is kept alive by this buffoon. Ted Kennedy was also a pioneer in seeking the influence of hostile foreign powers in the American electoral process. In 1984, Kennedy sought help from the Soviet Union, then headed by the KGB's Yuri Andropov, an old-line Stalinist. Kennedy offered to lend Andropov a hand in dealing with President Reagan. In return, the Soviet boss would lend the Democratic Party a hand in challenging Reagan in the 1984 presidential election. The gambit failed, and Reagan won in a landslide over both the Democrats Walter Mondale and Geraldine Ferraro, and Communist Party USA candidates Gus Hall and Angelus Davis, who now lead the Pussy Hat marches. No film has dared to tackle Teddy's collusion with Russian communists, but the Massachusetts Democrat has been portrayed on television. In the 1988 Saturday Night Live skit, Dukakis After Dark, Phil Hartman plays Kennedy, who is guzzling booze and hitting on Kitty Dukakis. That is still worth a look, and viewers might ponder another reality. Chappaquiddick opens with stock footage that is heavy on Ted's brother, John, on January 20th, 1961. In his inaugural address, JFK said, "Let every nation know, whether it wishes us well or ill, that we shall pay any price, bear any burden, meet any hardship, support any friend, oppose any foe, to assure the survival and success of liberty." The man who said that would not be welcome in today's Democratic Party. This video is a production of the School of the White Crane. My name is John Brooker, and you could reach me through commentary on this video or through my Gmail listed here. Please share this video with family and friends and on social media. May God richly bless you.